welcome to the Astro Forecast for the week of December 19th through to the 25th to Christmas. Can you believe it is almost the end of the year? Like, where did this year go? So we start off this week, at the fourth quarter phase of the moon. Means the moon is losing in light. We are going to have a wonderful super new moon in Capricorn this month. We actually started off the year in a new moon in Capricorn, and we're ending the year in a new moon in Capricorn. So very interesting. We will not have that next year, obviously, because new moon is this year. So let's get started. On Monday, December 19th, we have a minor aspect. It's Venus in conjunct to Mars, and Mars is retrograde in Gemini. Venus is now in Capricorn, strong and grounded. And in conjunct just means that they're not jiving together. It's almost like there's an adjustment that's needed to be made. So this can lead to frustrations, misunderstandings in relationships, feeling like we're not moving ahead or not able to get the things that we want. And during it's Christmas time, we might feel like we don't have the money, or we're feeling squeezed because our loved ones aren't telling us what they want, or maybe we're feeling like we don't have the funds and financial ability to give people exactly what they desire. So this is going to be an aspect of you being a little bit more I would say ingenious. It's not really ingenious ideas, but thinking outside the box in terms of how can you make these relationships and get what you want and have people get what they want in a way that feels more aligned to your pocketbook, perhaps, or maybe to the relationship. And this could also feel like people wanting more from you than you are able to give. So you can feel like jealousy, frustration, uneasy, tension, passionate, and could be a little bit aggressive in here as well. This is a really good one for boundaries, because Venus in Capricorn is like, I know what I want. I know how much money I can handle with this. And I know what is possible, right? It's focused and determined, and it's real. And Mars Gemini retrograde is like, but I want all the things. And what do I want all the things that I want? And people, claiming of your time and wanting things from you that you're just like, I don't have the capacity right now, or that doesn't really align with my passions and motivations. So it can be a day of reckoning, if you will, but see it as a day of truths coming to the surface for you. Tuesday, December 12th, we have Jupiter moving into Aries. He's going to be here for quite some time. This is a lovely energy of excitement, of opportunity, of passion, boldness, courage, starting new things, going after what we desire. But because Mars is still retrograde until, see this Mars, right? Like you can't wait for Mars to go direct until January. This is now a time of getting ideas and feeling optimistic. Just being careful you're not overcommitting or kind of biting off more than you can chew. You might feel very confident, very self-propelled, daring to do new things, boundless enthusiasm, starting a lot of projects, but you can become very reckless, taking a lot of risks, and your ego might go a little wild in this Jupiter in Aries. So Jupiter will stay here again for quite some time. So we've got some benefit to this. Now, just kind of tempering it more so for January. So making the ideas and then using this Capricorn energy to go, okay, but is this realistic? How can we go about executing this in the long run? December 21st, which is Wednesday, the sun moves into Capricorn. Happy birthday, Caps. This is a lovely time for us to buckle down, to get serious, to kind of do what is needed to be done, right? Capricorns are very realistic, grounded, right? Energized with what is the possibility from a grounded, logical standpoint, right? So this is also winter solstice. We celebrate the coming back of the light in the Western Hemisphere, in the Northern Hemisphere, and in the Southern Hemisphere, it's the longest day of the year for them. So shortest day of the year for us up here and longest day down there. Love my South family down there and all the lovely people in Australia and down on that side of the globe. So it's very interesting. Although we go through these themes together, they are experiencing it in opposite seasons than us. So it's pretty cool. And on this day, we have this. So this sun going into Capricorn is going to bring in more driven, focused, determined energy. This is going to be about standards and order, discipline, structure, frameworks. We are wanting to be more organized with our energy. And the sun is going to be square to Jupiter on this day. Remember, the sun is moving into Capricorn, Jupiter just moved into Aries, and those are 90 degrees from each other. They're both cardinal signs. So this cardinal energy can have us feeling like we got to get going, we got to do the thing, and we bite off more than we can chew, or we commit ourselves to too many things, or we feel like, we're really spending a lot of our, I'd say, resources in a way that really depletes us, right? So feeling highly confident and proud and lucky, respect, moderation, and discipline is going to be really important with this energy. Focus your energy, do not overdo, conserve your expenses, and really be kind of realistic. Right. That Mars and Gemini energy can make us feel like, oh, I want to do all the things, a little bit scattery. This is going to bring us back home. Now, Thursday, December 22nd, we have a very beautiful aspect. It's Venus trine to Uranus. Now, Venus in Capricorn, Uranus in Taurus, still retrograde. This is great connections with relationships, genius money-making ideas, great unique gifts come to the fore. And I just want to remind you that if you're giving gifts at this time, do something and give it from your heart, not from your pocketbook. Right. So even if you have, like, I know my young ones have a very long list of electronic items on their list, and I've been just planting the seeds of realistic gifts and things that are coming from the heart. So a lot of the things that are under our tree is from my heart, and I know that they're going to love it more so than a laptop. A laptop has its place. We have many laptops in this house. They're kind of old, but new laptops require an investment. So I am hedging my bets that there's going to be a laptop coming in 2023, but right now we're sort of just focusing on finances being a little bit more realistic than a laptop potentially could be for the kids each. Okay. All right, Friday, December 23rd, we have a new moon, a super new moon in Capricorn. Now, super means that the moon is closest to the earth in its trajectory. The moon is not just revolving the earth in a kind of a circle. It is actually elliptical, meaning that it flings out into space and then it comes back in and then flings back out into space. So it's kind of got this elliptical oval type of trajectory around orbit around Earth. And when we have a new moon or full moon, when that trajectory is close to us, we call that a super. So this is a super new moon. Of course, you're not going to be able to see it in the sky because it's black, but we're going to know its effects. So you're going to feel it, especially if you are a Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, or have those aspects in your chart very seriously, like a stellium, 3 or more planets or points in your chart that are underwater signs. You will definitely feel this as an intuitive, as an empath, as a sensitive. So this super new moon is at 1 degree of Capricorn in 32 minutes, and it's at 3:17 a.m. Mountain Standard Time here in Canada, 2:17 a.m. Pacific Time, and 5:17 Eastern Standard Time. So there is an aspect to this. When the sun and the moon come together in the same degree, in the same sign, we feel more grounded. The sun being our vitality, our egoic feeling of who we are as an individual, and the moon being our intuition, our divine feminine being nature, emotional nature. So when these two things come together, when these two planets come together, these two aspects of ourselves, we feel more whole, right? But we are also creating our identity at this time. So if you're born on a new moon, you are then meant to learn who you are in this world and really create that identity. And that identity may shift throughout your life. And I mean, you're saying, yeah, doesn't it all for all of us? But the themes around identity will be very prominent for people who are born on a new moon. So that new moon aspect now, it's a really lovely time to set intentions for 2023. This is going to be kind of a very grounded, stable time to do so, especially given the nature of what's happening now, because we often feel very optimistic and excited, and January comes about and we're like, we're going to do all the things. But right now at the end of December is a time of realism, right? Bills to be paid, things happening. There's a lot of, I would say, harder things happening in the world around this time for us. So with this Mars retrograde, what is your passions and what are your motivations? Why do you want the things that you do? right? And starting to create your resolutions from there, or what you want for 2023. That's why I have a vision board workshop on the 17th of December and one on January. Number one, January 7th. Number one is because people are creating for the year ahead, and sometimes December feels easier for others than January. And this year I have more people registered in January than I do in December, which is really interesting. And I think that January optimism, as Mars won't be going direct and Mercury will be retrograde still until like the 18th of January. So, I mean, Mars goes direct on the 12th of January, Mercury goes direct on the 18th. So after the 18th, we're going to feel much more optimistic, much more positive about way of flow, things will flow better in your life. Before then, you'll feel stops and starts. You'll feel very wishy-washy, feeling like, why can't anything work? So just give yourself that break, okay, up till that point. Now, a couple of major aspects happening at this new moon, super new moon. One is a square to Jupiter, which is in play all week, right? We already talked about the square to Jupiter being don't overdo it. Don't be over optimistic, be overdoing it, over committing yourself to things. There's also a square to Neptune, meaning that we can feel like we don't know everything. Right, we're a little confused, or maybe we're making choices and decisions without knowing the whole picture yet. If you don't know all the answers, if you don't know all the kind of the information around a decision you want to make, it is not the right time to make a decision. This is not a major decision moon. Okay, I'm going to say it. You can set the intention to be more grounded, create more structures, be more disciplined in your life potentially, but it's a time where we can feel like insecure, we can feel questioning reality, emotionally sensitive, vulnerable to deception. Susceptibility to infection is a big one, so take care of yourself. There are 3 viruses on the rise at this time of year right now, especially because of just all the weird conditions that have created itself. So we are definitely going to see a rise of hospitalizations, and this square to Neptune being sort of this mystery virus and these viruses combining and all that stuff. So just taking care of yourself. And then Saturn square to Uranus, it's its final push, and then it's going to be done. The old versus the new restrictions. So we might be feeling like, here's the restrictions again. Maybe we might see some hospitalizations or masking coming back. I mean, in my heart, I feel like that's not going to happen, but I think there's going to be some, if the hospitals start to fill up and we don't have capacity, then there could be some things that might come back for a short time, only for a short time. And then we also have this really ingenious energy of Mercury coming together with Venus, trining to Uranus. This is brilliant ideas, wonderful relationships, great connections with people that bring us back to who we are. This can be shakeups in relationships as well, shakeups in thinking, to have you bring in new ideas and new ways of being. This could also bring in wonderful new relationships because old relationships are breaking apart. So there's ingenious, eclectic friends coming in here, perspectives of a new way of looking at things is coming in. And of course, we can't have new perspectives if we're holding on to the old. So that is the opportunity of this new supermoon. And then Saturday, December 24th, Christmas Eve, we have Mercury sextile to Neptune. This is a lovely energy for intuition, for magic, for creativity, spiritual downloads, great conversations and connections, great for writing, singing, and being creative, just great for being in the moment and being really spiritually aligned. This is a really wonderful energy for this. I'm actually really excited for this day. And then Sunday, December 25th, which is Christmas around the world. There's no real major aspects, but I just like to look at the aspects that are in that day. The moon will be in Aquarius. So this is going to be a very cerebral moon. We're going to be thinking through our emotions, thinking through the years that have gone past, how this Christmas is different than previous Christmases. We could even be missing loved ones in spirit. And this can be a time to reflect and kind of look back on those memories and see them in a way and bring it to a new level of understanding. It's a maturation in our emotions to an extent, because we're gleaning the facts and what we've learned from that. And then we also have the moon is sextile to Jupiter. So this is a lovely, optimistic, gregarious moon. And the moon is trine to Mars. So we feel like we can do things. We're feeling optimistic. We're feeling very jovial and light and in In the sign of Gemini, it's a very conversational, communicative, curious type of moon. So this can make us very social. Yeah, it's a very social moon. So the moon's aspects on Christmas Day are great. There's still those aspects squaring to Jupiter and squaring to Neptune in play for this whole week, going into next week. So just be careful not to overdo it, and not to like, if you don't know all the story, don't gossip, don't believe, I mean, I guess those things just kind of are in play for the rest of your life, but just having a more it could be making you very idealistic as well with those squares of like everything is great and you people are wonderful, or feeling let down because things didn't go the way you want, right? So just being grounded, channel that Capricorn energy and just be the observer this week and notice what's happening in you, notice what's happening outside of you, the people who are triggering you, why are they triggering you, what's the wound within you, and how can we bring more healing and love to that. And I would say no big major decisions this week. Okay, don't buy any big cars or anything like that. Not a good day or time for that. Also, not a great time for big investments with that square to Neptune and the square to Jupiter. We're just not going to make some great choices this week if we do that. So wishing you a wonderful holiday week ahead. I will see you next week as we talk about the new year and in the last week of December. So have a wonderful week. I appreciate you and wishing you happy holidays wherever you're at. Take care. Bye.